Coming up next on YCU News, a new union forms in Vermont, being the largest in the state's history. A possible merger is underway in 2 Vermont communities. And State Department of Education officials say a plan is in place that will allow the state's tax division to get its bills out on time. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCU, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region and central Vermont. News, sports, weather, public affairs, and all that's happening in our area. The news on YCU, your local view.
Good evening. I'm Rose Spillman, and thank you for joining us for this Friday edition of YCU News. Even with the ongoing federal government shutdown, there is much to see and do in New Hampshire and Vermont. While the St. Gaudens National Historic Site is closed, all New Hampshire state parks and campgrounds remain open. The White Mountain National Forest trails are operating. It's the White Mountain National Forest ranger stations and offices that are closed. In Vermont, the only federal park is the Marsh-Billings Rockefeller Park in Woodstock. Yes, that is closed. But catch the sweeping mountainous view along Vermont's Route 9 west near Bennington or along Route 4 west into Woodstock for spectacular views. Look around you when you're walking, bicycling, canoeing, or driving throughout Vermont and New Hampshire this weekend. It's a trifecta of color. The foliage is on fire in the Twin States. Intense yellows, oranges, and reds dot the landscape. To follow the foliage beyond your backyard, you can do this online too. Check out www.vermontvacation.com. The state's Seeing is Believing campaign will inspire you. For the Granite State, check out www.visitnh.gov. A new union has formed in Vermont, a union that is now the largest in the state's history. Home care workers are the people who care for the disabled and for ill, elderly, and often housebound Vermonters. About 7,000 home care workers throughout Vermont do this selfless work day in and day out. Typically, the average pay is $10 per hour. Now, they will have a stronger voice to speak up for higher pay and benefits. That's because a majority of home care workers voted Thursday to join a union known by its nickname AFSCME. That's the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. About 2,000 home care workers voted to join the national union, Vermont Public Radio reports. Votes are still being finalized, yet about 1,400 workers voted yes for the union and 566 voted no. The vote to join the union could benefit the people the home care workers serve. Giving more hours per week for a home worker to spend with a client could lead to the client's improved health and happiness. A possible merger of town services is underway in 2 Vermont communities. Discussion is beginning between the Bellows Falls trustees and Rockingham, Vermont Select Board. Bellows Falls is a village within the town of Rockingham, Vermont. Leaders from both areas met Thursday night to talk about if and how to do this. Money could be saved and more services gained if one larger municipality is formed. Elected officials from Bellows Falls and Rockingham will meet again at the end of this month. State Department of Education officials say a plan is in place that will allow the state's tax division to get its bills out on time. New Hampshire city and town clerks learned earlier this week that there might be a delay in setting the municipal tax rate. A change by lawmakers last year requires school officials to use the previous year's total school enrollment as a factor in setting the school tax. New Hampshire property owners pay 3 parts of a tax bill. These are the town or city tax, a county tax, and the school tax. Until the legislature changed its rules, towns and cities used school enrollment from the previous 2 years. State Department of Ed officials said they needed more time to get figures together. This would mean that the property owners could get tax bills in the middle of the holiday shopping season. Not a good time, or a good present for taxpayers. The problem was fixed late Thursday, though. That's when state ed officials said they would be ready to complete their part of the process. Now, property tax owners can expect the tax rate to be set by town clerks when they usually do that in mid-October. Now we have the YCU weather forecast for the Connecticut River Valley and Lake Sunapee region. Looks like we'll be having rain for the next several days. Tomorrow we will have a high of 66 and a low of 52 degrees. Sunday we have a high in the low 60s and lows in the upper 50s. Monday we'll have scattered thunderstorms with a high of 69 and a low of 50 degrees. Tuesday and Wednesday we will have temperatures in the mid-60s. If you're in the Claremont area this Saturday, stop by the Visitors Center Green for the 16th Annual Fall Festival and Chili Cook-Off from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'm Rose Spillman for YCU, your local view. Good night.